Yeah, W6BBS72.
Boy, you were sitting on it, weren't you?
I had the volume down too much, what'd you say?
I said, boy, you were sitting on the key, weren't you?
Well, I operate a foot switch, and there's a boom mic in front of me, so all it takes when I hear you coming on is swinging my foot over by the foot switch, and I'm ready.
Yeah, but you've also got to be sitting there, not in front of the barbecue.
Well, exactly that. Yeah, I was sitting here. I'm working on a little something here on the computer, and I was sitting here listening and waiting for you, sir. Good evening.
Evening.
KM6SRR.
Good evening, Rob.
Good evening, Frank. It's good to hear you're sitting. That's better than standing, over.
Better than laying at the bottom of a hole.
That's true. As long as I'm vertical every day, I have no issues, over.
Roger, roger.
I'll roger that. Kilo Golf 6, Charlie Echo Fox.
Good evening, Daryl. How you doing?
Doing all right, Rob. Yeah. I've been recently acquired a couple of rotors, and I was looking at the proposal. I wanted to tell Mike what they were. He can probably tell me a little more something about it. One of them's a great big controller with a brake control and everything on it, and goes to a pretty good-sized rotor.
That's a HMM.
Is that what it is?
The HMM has a switch across the bottom of the controller, and you move the switch, and the first thing you hear is a big click, and that's when the solenoid pulls the brake loose, and then you go a little further and it starts to rotate.
And then I have another one here, and it's an Alliance dual speed control.
That's it could be, depending on its physical size, it's probably not they made TV rotators, but that one sounds like one that's, if it's got dual speed, it's probably made for ham use.
It's a pretty good sized rotor too, but it's not as big as the other one, and it's a six wire control.
Yeah, the other one has a big base, quite tall, and when you first run the controller switch, once you've got it hooked up and running it, you'll hear a big clank. That's when the brake releases. Brake pulls out with a solenoid, and then the thing can start to rotate. It's a brake that is done with the solenoid.
Oh, I figured that. Yeah. I wish the guy that took them apart had indicated what wire went where, because he's not using in some kind of telephone wire. It has big gauge and smaller gauge wires in it. And I have no way of knowing.
Well, Belden makes its cable specially for that. There's a smaller one, 8448. 8448 is one Belden wire, which will run that rotor. But if you're going to run a long distance, you want something, there's another bigger wire that has 14 gauge. The 8448 has two number 18s, and the rest are 22s. So it's a fairly small cable, about a quarter of an inch in diameter, with a gray jacket.
That is what's on here. But what my beef is, I don't know what wire goes where on the controller.
Information?
There's information, but you can see that on the web real quickly. Daryl, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, Daryl, are you hearing me okay?
Oh, yeah, loud and clear. You're blowing my speaker out.
All right, just Google Norm's rotor service, and then look around his pages. He's got schematics and drawings and explanations of all kinds of things, even how to read the stamped number in the bottom of the ham M's and ham 4s and all that stuff, and telling what vintage it was and all that. But all those ham M, ham 2s, all those rotors like that follow the exact same pattern on the rotor and on the control box. When you're looking at the bottom of the rotor, there'll be a little strip in there, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top, and 5, 6, 7, 8 across the bottom, and they usually have numbers numbers on them. And the numbers across the strip on the back of your control box are 1 through 8. So you simply hook up 1 through 8, and on the other end, 1 through 8. But you can find all the information in detail on Norm's Rotor Service web pages. Over.
Yeah, but you got to tell them what two terminals get the bigger wires.
Well, that'll all be there. Always terminal 1 and 2 is the motor, and they get the big wires. But he can actually see it in writing if he goes and looks that up.
There you go. That's it.
I get it, and I've done that before, Frank, and I thank you very much for reminding me about that. And that's what I'll do, by golly.
All right, very good. And like Mike was saying, on all those, the same thing. 1 and 2 is always the motor, and the rest of them are all the other things. And but you just wire them up in order. But Norm's Rotor Service is the answer, because you got diagrams, you can download stuff and all that, and get all the documentation. You can also find copies of all the rotors, ham-2 rotors and all that stuff. You can find copies of that online and download them.
Yeah, and if you use the Belden 8448 or similar wire, it's all colored. So once you find the two big wires, which is black and white usually, then the other ones are colored. And if you have a red on 3, put red on 3 on the rotor terminal and red on 3 on the control box, obviously, and then you just follow your nose with the colors matching the numbers all the way up. Over.
That's a Roger. Yep, I get it, and that's what I'll do. Thanks for the info.
Alrighty. Sounds like you got it under control now. The Alliance is a different deal, but they'll have the similar mentality where numbers match on the control box and the rotator. If you can find the starting point on each end, on the rotor controller and on the rotor itself, then you'll know where you're going. And typically, Norm's Rotor Service will have the one that has the motor wires, and that's one that gets the big wires. I can't remember what the number of the bigger cable is, but depending on what you have. Did your rotor come with any rotator cable at all?
Oh, yeah. I can't tell how there's a lead.
Is it 1/4 inch in diameter or bigger?
Other one, so, yeah, it came with cable.
Yeah, you're coming loud and then collapsing, so I'm not getting anything but the first syllable. Try it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably my fault. It came with 100 foot of cable on one rotor and 200 foot on the other one. So yeah, it came with plenty of cable.
Okay, I was just asking you what size the wire was. A diameter of the cable itself, not each individual wire, just the diameter of the cable.
Larger wires, and so that obviously motor wires. I'll take it apart and look at the numbers and correspond to the colors. I'll get it right.
I'm asking you though, there's two kinds of rotor cable. A bigger one for a longer run, and sometimes the guys use that in lieu of the smaller one. The small stuff is Belden 8448, and it might even have the numbers on the cable if it's not too old. Over.
I'd have to say it's the smaller one.
Yeah, well, that would be okay.
And there's like 100 foot of it, so obviously it was working at one time.
Yeah, that's fine, and you can just hook it up color for color all the way down. Just the two big wires go on 1 and 2, and that's it. All right, let's see who else we have. We're pointed down toward Southern California, looking for Ben, N6SWR. If you're there, Ben, over.
Check in, Dave, BBG.
N6SWR, Delta Mike 05. Cool 91, 92 degrees this evening. Not bad at all.
971.
Okay, very good, Ben. 247 is your Bozo number. Yeah, it's cool here, too. And I got you, Dave, also, 971. K6BBG, we've got you all okay, Dave. Good evening. Good to have you back here. I guess you were busy with other actions the last couple of days. Over.
Hi, Roger, Mike. Yeah. I'm been really busy playing with fishing rods here lately.
Okay, very good. Back down to you, Ben. And you said it was 85 degrees today, quite cool. I think that's about where we got. I kept thinking it was pushing 90. The highest temperature that we saw was about 4 o'clock, and I think it was about 86. So similar to your temperatures there, over.
Roger, I'm not sure what the temperature was, but it was not triple digit or even in the high 90s. It was probably low 90s or high 80s, but it was relatively comfortable today.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we did. We felt the same way. Enjoyed the day quite a bit, and it was only hot if you stood in the sun. Out of the wind, we had a pretty good breeze here most of the time if you were out in the open. If you were in a sheltered area and had sun on you, then the sun was very hot. But in actual temperature range, it wasn't very high, as you said. Anyway, great to hear you. And hopefully this tomorrow, I don't know whether you've had a chance to do anything with the 430 and 432 antenna. You might comment on that. That way we'll know whether to look hard for you tomorrow or not worry about it, over.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It depends how the day goes, and it might be a busy day. I haven't gone up there yet, and I might be obligated to a full day at work, so I'm not sure yet for tomorrow. I'll text Rob one way or the other.
Okay, that would be helpful. That way we can have a 6S look for you. He's the one that can always hear you down there in Visalia, and sometimes we hear you and sometimes we don't. Okay, very good. That'll help a lot. Thanks, Ben. Let's see if Rick is there by any chance. KB6RQU in Lake Isabella. KB6RQU, K6MYC. And again, Rick is not there. He must have some very busy action going on in the background there, or he's committed to other projects. Who knows? All right. Anybody else down south? I haven't heard anybody from the LA area. Nobody here yet from the LA area. Are we getting into LA tonight or not? K6MYC Bozo Net, Northern California. Very quiet down that way. Alpha 6 Sugar, are you here, Bill? No, Bill. WA6AAJ, Mike? They're probably talking to each other on the phone. Okay, let's see. We haven't heard W6PYP down there in Visalia for some time, but he may pop in here. Anybody else in the Fresno area? How about you, Terry, KK6ZKE? No ZKE. KC5DTU, Terry, Kerry.
KG6QNY.
KG6QNY, there's Marcus. KG6QNY. Give me your number, Marcus.
1091, Mike, and good evening to everybody.
Yeah, Roger. Good evening. Good to hear you on now from the new location, 1091 from KG6QNY. Marcus, good to hear you. And you're doing well up this way. Are you vertical or horizontal at this point?
I'm still vertical, but we'll soon be horizontal.
Yeah, okay. I guess that's a coming attraction, the horizontal part of it. Very good. Well, we hear you fine here. You're just not going to hear stuff that's out very far when you're vertically polarized there. All righty. And who else do we have? How about Ken? I wonder if Ken's recovered enough to get on here. 226, are you here? WA60YB? How about, let's see, I can't remember COT's name. I think it's Rob or Ron, but I could be wrong. WB6COT?
It would be Rob Herndon.
Rob, yeah, it's the same as yours, right?
QSL. I wanted to give a shout out to Ben and Marcus there, KM6SR.
Yeah, go right ahead.
How you doing, Ben? N6SWR, KM6SRR.
KM6SRR, N6SWR. How are you doing this evening, Rob?
Well, I survived a day of weed eating, and boy, am I sore today. So I've taken advantage of the little bit cooler weather there, over.
Roger. Well, you know, it's best to get a gardener and not even do that stuff.
Well, I've got acreage and living in the foothills with grass everywhere. You can't get away from it. Over.
No, I know. I just had to rub it in, though. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's not postage stamp backyard there at Rob's place. What do you got? You got 76 acres, Rob?
Yep, Roger. Well, Ben, I guess I have one advantage. It's very private up here. I don't have to listen to the neighbors. Over.
And he can use the whole world as his urinal, Ben. Over.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to flush. He can just pick it out there in the field every day.
That's right. Anyway, you wanted to say hello to Ben, and Dave is in here, VBG is in here, of course, and Frank is in, and a couple of others. Over.
Roger. Yeah, I've been here since your whistle, Mike. So I got him down. I'm not hearing Dave very good. I got to really turn up there to hear him, I guess. Anyway, I wanted to shout out to Marcus. I asked him to get on tonight, and I appreciate him checking in. Over.
Yeah, well, you're quite all right there, Rob. Good evening to you, and everything's working out so good. And we are just still unpacking some of the speakers and the power supplies there, trying to line those all up.
Roger, Marcus. You're fading out a little bit, so I got to show you how we get that 2-meter loop working for you. Over.
There you go. That's what we're going to do next once we can get some of these switches. But I am still waiting for the FT991 Alpha and the FT710. They're coming.
Roger. Sounds good. Okay, I'll give it back to Mike here. KM6SR.
Okay, one more listen for all the guys locally here. And of course, Aaron, we should put Aaron down here. Why don't we put Aaron down? He's running the net, running the stream, but I know he's not in the shack tonight. K6USY at 1079. And then we've got his wife, K6 ZKA 1100. That's Brittany, of course. Okay. Now, anybody else before I turn over toward Atascadero? K6MYZ Bozo Net.
KE6BK.
Well, blow me down, Porterville. KE6BK, Kilo Echo 6 Bravo Kilo 858 858. Eddie, go ahead and take a transmission. You can turn it back to Rob. I'm sure he wants to say hi. Go ahead.
Hey, Roger there, Mike. Roger, thanks for picking me up there. First time I've been down here in quite a while. Trying to get over this knee surgery. Over.
Okay, very good. Well, how are you doing? You have a knee replacement, did you?
Yeah, we had a knee replacement, and kind of hard to get down here into the shack and everything like that, but we made it tonight. Thought we would see if we could make it up there to you guys.
Well, you're not as loud as normal, but that's okay. We're copying you. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, good to hear you, Eddie. Thanks for coming in there. KE6BK, KM6SRR.
KM6SRR, KE6BK. Good to see you, Rob. Good to hear you guys out there.
Cool, you kind of faded out to me. I couldn't get the last of that. Anyway, I know you're there. Thanks.
Hello there, Eddie. KE6BK, WA60IB. I'm also checking in Mike 226. Nice to hear you, Eddie. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. You're getting strong down this road. Yep, you are. You're sounding good this evening.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you're doing pretty fine here. And good evening to you, Rob, and to you, Mike. Go ahead.
Good evening, Ken.
QRX a minute, guys. I got to feed my stray cat, Abby. He just showed up, and he hasn't eaten yet. I'll be back in 30 seconds or less. K6MYC. Good evening, Ken. And Judy's going to write you in, WA6OIB 226.
Yeah, and good evening to Judy there, too. You betcha. We just got home, Rob. Just got home from dinner.
727. Hello, Ken, Rob, Mike, Judy.
Okay,
73, Eddie.
Care, WA6OIB. And 226 is checking in down in L.A.
226, got Ginger Man booming in tonight. How you doing?
Pretty good, Pat. Good to hear you.
Yeah, good to hear you too. Yeah, you guys are booming. Boy, we were picking up Galita here just a few minutes ago and haven't heard those guys in a long time.
Wow, okay. Well, we can expect some good conditions tonight then, maybe. How about that?
Yeah, sure sounds like it. Yeah, good to hear you there, Ken. We got you on the list down here. My Bozo number here is number 58.
Okay. I'll let Mike know that 58's checked in too. You may have already talked to him. I don't know. I just got here.
No, I'm just logging him in right now. W6 Papa Mike Delta 58. Good evening, Pat. K6MYC Bozo 47.
Yeah, Mike, number 47, W6PMD here, Bozo 58. Boy, you're loud and clear tonight.
Yeah, you're loud and clear here, too. Go ahead.
Oh, man, yeah. We were just talking to Galita, and I think I picked up, I usually pick up 3 or 4 guys in that direction. I think we got about 8 or 9 so far, so good to hear you guys. I hope you're keeping healthy up there.
Oh, yeah, we're hanging there. Everybody's trying to stay healthy. We've had a little bit of ups and downs. Ken had a little problem there, but I think everything's resolved now. Good to have you back, Ken. Anyway, Pat, good to hear you. Let's see. I'm sure Rob wants to give you a number and maybe a few others here. We're a little light on locals here with big signals, but maybe you can even work Frank. Frank, are you copying Pat down there?
No rotor.
No rotor. Okay, he doesn't have a rotor, so he can't turn yet, Pat. But over to you, Rob, KM6, Sugar Radio in the group, K6MYC.
Good evening, Pat. W6PMD, number 58. I got you logged in there. And this is Kilo Mike 6, Sierra Romeo, number 432. Over.
Roger. Rob got you in a good strong signal on that 7. A little stronger on the signal, but good and clear audio. 432 got you on the books, and of course, you know my number 58 down here. Hope you guys have a good, safe week.
Get the end of that, Rob?
No, I'm not picking them up now. I wonder if something's wrong with my station here. I haven't heard the last couple of people very well. Over.
No, you're okay. It's just heavy QSB. He just took a dive right into the noise. Rob got you, and all checked in, Pat. Thanks much. Anybody else for Pat? It's quiet at the moment, Pat. Thanks very much for calling in. Good to hear you, as always. W6PMD down there in Los Angeles area. K6MYC, Bozo Net, Northern California.
Roger, thanks.
727.
I hear you, Mike. WA6AAJ is next after Judy's logging and catching up a little bit here, so hang on a second, Mike.
Roger.
Hello there, Mike.
Hello there, Ken. How are you?
Oh, not too bad for a kid.
That's right. We're all young.
Yeah, no future in growing up.
No, sir. Just look at our president.
He had no future anyway.
I hope not. In the political sense. All
right. Let's see. anybody else here? Ken, anything from you that I didn't copy? How are you feeling? I know you had some nose issues here, but I guess they got you under control. What the hell caused that? That's a serious nosebleed, it sounds like.
Yeah, they couldn't get the bleeding stopped. There's something wrong with one of my sinuses. A blood vessel broke or something way up. It's way up inside my head, and it just come pouring out of there and wouldn't quit. So anyway, it's been stopped now. They put that rhino rocket in there and all doused with medicine and stuff. So I had that for 3 days. So once they pulled that out, I could start breathing again, and it's been good since then. So I'm just being very, very careful. I got a special spray I spray in twice a day, and that's about all right now.
Yeah, that's odd to have a nosebleed in the sinuses. I used to have terrible nosebleeds when I was a kid. I remember one summer, started at the beginning of summer, and I had my nose packed for about a month. God, what a pain that is. Not a month, about a week. They packed me with gauze. And then this is when the doctor actually visited the house. He packed my nose with gauze and both nostrils, and then came back a few days later and pulled the gauze out. That was kind of terrible. Feels like you're pulling big things. You know what I'm talking about out of your nose, but it did stop the bleeding. But I had continual nosebleeds until my latest very, very good doctor finally did cauterization, a good job of cauterizing. And I've never had a nosebleed since. Been 20 years now, so he really did a good job with no side effects. So, but that's where they can reach it. In the sinuses, they can't get to you very easily. So what did they do in the sinus? They packed you up anyway so it couldn't drain?
Well, yeah, they have what they call a rhino rocket. It's a big, long thing. It's about over 3 inches long. And they douse that with medicine, and they send that up there, and you talk about pain, and it's got a balloon inside of it. They send that up there, and then they blow it up.
Wow. Well, I remember in high school, I had both of my sinuses, the ones that are right over your eyes in the center there, but both of those were punctured because I had sinus infections. So they drove a rod up through there from the bottom side and broke into the sinus cavity and let it drain. And that was the only way they could clear up the infection at that time. And of course, that was back in the 60s, or 50s actually, 50s in high school. So they didn't have a lot of technology in those days. Luckily, they didn't drive the rod completely up, otherwise I wouldn't be talking to you, over.
Yeah, for sure. But, it's very, very uncomfortable. That thing's stuffed up in there for 3 days was about all I could take. And they got it out Monday afternoon, and it's been okay ever since then. Anyway, I'm doing fine, so carry on. WA60IB.
Okay, thanks for the brutal recap, and I'm glad you're doing well again. Thank you. Sorry to put you through that one more time. I'm sure you've